Hey, you guys, this is Rashawn Ellis for News, Views, and Conversations. Just wanted to pop back in and go over some more Trump information, some more Trump stuff. It's been a quite entertaining week this past week. I mean, we've all heard it, we've all saw it, all the different this and the different that. I just think it's a whole train wreck at this point. I don't know how he's going to come back from this. We got to sit here and see how it all plays out. He's gone from disrespecting the MAGA maggots, calling them stupid, calling them weaklings because they should not even be questioning the whole Epstein files, the whole Epstein's list thing. I mean, I didn't think it would get to this point, but it has. But I always like to say, for what we've seen since 2016, the past 10 years, this is what happens when you get comfortable with watching your friend or whoever you support disrespect other people. Now he's disrespecting his supporters. So now he's disrespecting them. So now you guys see how it feels to be disrespected. This is what everyone has been saying the whole time. This is not someone to follow. This is not someone to support. And they have been supporting him the entire time. And now they're being disrespected. So I'm sure now that the shoe is on the other foot, it doesn't feel so good. But it also goes to show you as well, he's just a no good guy. And this is what happens when people follow what's popular, follow what's cool, what everybody's on the Trump bandwagon. And now you see how uncool he is. I actually kind of think to myself, this is just my opinion only. I kind of feel like if he wasn't cutting a lot of their benefits, a lot of different things that they have, coming to them as far as their livelihood in this situation with the Epstein files, if he wasn't doing that to them, they probably would still be supporting. But for the fact that he's cutting their benefits, he's cutting, all their livelihood stuff, and this is like just adding more, wood to the fire pretty much. So this is why they're like, nah, release the Epstein files. Yeah, we want to know what's going on now. So it's just the whole concoction of mess, how I see it. It's just the whole concoction of mess. Trump has gone from saying it's the Epstein hoax, as I stated in my last video. Um, the Democrats created this. It's Obama's fault. He went down the whole laundry list of everyone he's blaming for this. And I'm sitting here like, he's always blaming someone else. But as we understand, he's a malignant narcissist. This is what they do. They always blame others. They always deflect. They always gaslight. They always have to say that it's someone else's fault. And of course, we already know we've watched the whole shit show go on since 2016. It's been a wild, wild mess. But it's just really crazy. It's really ridiculous that we've even gotten to this point. And I think that anyone that does not want to see it released, it says a lot about them because this has to do with children, young girls being exploited at a young age before they even come into the knowing of what SMECH is all about. They're experiencing it before they even know the specialness of it and what it's supposed to be for between a man and a woman. So anyone that sits there and says, oh, they don't care, it's not that big of a deal, something's wrong there. Something's wrong there. And I just can't see how you would sit there and say it doesn't need to be released. I feel like the same way that the common man, the regular civilian is held accountable for their actions, so should the elites. But as we all know, a lot of times, in most cases, they still don't get in trouble for what they do, which is why we are here. So also, he's actually now planning to sue James Comey. Correction, not James Comey. He's actually planning to sue Rupert Murdoch of the Wall Street Journal for releasing the letter that they found for Epstein for his 50th birthday. So you got that going on. And also, he just fired the daughter of James Comey, Maureen Comey. She was supposed to be a part of the prosecution for the Epstein trial, and she was handling the Diddy trial as well. So she's been fired. So I think all these things are coming up because this is the part where now they're going to try to probably put people in place at the DOJ to cover how much is being released through Pam Bundy for the Epstein files. And they don't want Maureen Comey nowhere near it. And then now you're trying to sue the Wall Street Journal, the owner, Rupert Murdoch. You're trying to sue him because they just put out the letter that confirmed that you've had some dealings with Epstein, and I don't believe that they wouldn't have put it out if they couldn't confirm it. And the Wall Street Journal, they are very reputable. So he's trying to sue them now for 10 billion. I don't think he's going to get it. So I just want to read a little bit of the letter, what I was able to retrieve myself. And yeah, they're doing a lot these days. And this is from sources of CNN. A collection of letters gifted to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday in 2003 included a note bearing Donald Trump's name and an outline of a naked woman, according to a Wall Street Journal report published Thursday. The drawing depicting a woman's breast and Donald Trump's signature in the place of pubic hair surrounded several lines of typewritten text, according to the newspaper, which reviewed the letter. It concluded with the line, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Trump, in an interview with the Journal on Tuesday, denied that he wrote the letter or drew the picture and threatened to sue the newspaper if it published the story. So right there, guys, he's already trying to cover up the whole existence of a letter. Like I said before, I just don't believe that the Wall Street Journal would have published anything or put anything out if it wasn't true. And if they didn't have other further information to follow, which has not been released yet, to pretty much back up why they went ahead and released it. So all we can do at this point now is just sit back and wait and see what comes up next. As I always say, as he's making all these changes, messing with people's livelihoods, all these different things in the world, talking about what he want to go take over and, take this country and take that country. Every hole that he digs for us, he's digging one for himself. As we can see, we're getting a chance to really witness it. So we're going to just stay tuned and see what else comes up. So he's disrespected the MAGA maggots. He's fired Maureen Comey. Now he's trying to sue Rupert Murdoch, the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, it's going down. It's so bad. Nick Fuentes has even cussed him out. So I'm sure you guys have seen and heard that as well. Let me try to get the video on that as well. So I will see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned. Whatever else I find out next, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Definitely push the likes up so I can keep bringing you more information, keeping us in the algorithm, and to push the information out. And it's very important. We gotta know this information, guys. It affects all of us, each and every last one of us. No matter what your race is, we're all in this together. So I will see you guys in the next video, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.
Tonight on this program, for the first time, you are going to hear the words Trump and stupid in the same sentence, but not in the order you might expect, not in the way you have heard those two words used on this program many times before. Because today is the day when Donald Trump finally said something that, now that he's actually said it, kind of seems inevitable. It is an historic turn for Donald Trump. It is a brand new use of the word stupid by Donald Trump. And it is the most important Trump usage of the word stupid ever. Because today, for the first time, Donald Trump called Republicans stupid. And he means millions of them. That was his word for Republicans who have been religiously devoted to him, Republicans who think of him as chosen by God. Donald Trump turned on those Republicans today and called them stupid and said the thing that no smart politician has ever said before. Ever. Donald Trump said, "I don't want their support anymore." I have often said on this program and elsewhere that no one insults the intelligence of Trump voters more than Donald Trump. No one thinks less of the intellectual capacity of Trump voters than Donald Trump. And he has always proved that in the way he pathologically lies directly to them about things that they know are not true. Donald Trump has always thought that he can do that to his supporters because he believes that they are not, in Donald Trump's mind, the kind of sharp people that he was trying to deal with in New York in his business career. Now, I have never once been able to predict what could separate the most fervent Trump supporters from Donald Trump, what could possibly get Donald Trump to publicly call them stupid and say, I don't want their support anymore. They never seemed to mind being lied to about tariffs. Trump supporters never seemed bothered by the nasty intellectual insults he used to hurl at them at his campaign rallies and his speeches when he told them that other countries would pay the Trump tariffs that they were going to have to pay. They never seemed excited about the Trump tariff passages in those speeches, but they were never bothered by Trump's public insults of them based on Trump's belief that not one of his voters knows what a tariff is. That insult didn't bother Trump voters, apparently. No political opponent of Donald Trump has been able to do anything that could separate Donald Trump from Republicans, get Donald Trump to call Republicans stupid and say, I don't want their support anymore. The only person who could do that is the person who said he was Donald Trump's closest friend for 10 years and who killed himself in prison while awaiting trial on federal charges of sex trafficking. Jeffrey Epstein, the person standing beside Donald Trump in that blue shirt in that video right now. Jeffrey Epstein is the name Donald Trump never wants to hear. But Donald Trump's problem is the Jeffrey Epstein scandal that now surrounds Donald Trump and the Trump administration is very easily understood by reporters and the public and Trump voters, and people are paying attention to the name Donald Trump doesn't want them to ever hear. A new poll shows that 62% of registered voters are closely following the news about the Epstein files. 63% disapprove of Donald Trump's handling of the Epstein files, with 17%, only 17%, approving of Donald Trump, saying there's nothing to see here. No one causes more problems for Donald Trump than Donald Trump. And so Donald Trump's first solution to his Epstein problem was to try to change the subject with new tariff announcements every day or utter absurdities that are very simple and easy to understand that Donald Trump would say if he believed that Republicans' attention could be diverted because, as Donald Trump said today, they are stupid. That's his belief. And on the belief that they are stupid, last week, Donald Trump went back to a long-held target of his, Rosie O'Donnell, saying in a social media post, I am giving serious consideration to taking away her citizenship. There is no way Donald Trump could take away the citizenship of natural-born citizen Rosie O'Donnell. Donald Trump knows that. But that was Donald Trump's idea of the moment, of how to change the subject from Jeffrey Epstein. It obviously failed spectacularly. But it did provoke a video response from Rosie O'Donnell yesterday from her new residence in Ireland, in which she said, quote, I'm safe here in Ireland. I'm out of the reach of the tangerine Mussolini. And I got to say, as nicknames for Donald Trump go, Tangerine Mussolini is a possible winner, and it certainly gave Rosie O'Donnell the win in her latest exchange with Donald Trump. It will be interesting to see what nicknames the Republicans who Donald Trump called stupid today will come up with to compete with Tangerine Mussolini. Donald Trump failed to distract attention from Donald Trump and his Attorney General's refusal to release the federal investigative files in the Jeffrey Epstein case, or any files in that case. The files that were on the desk of the Attorney General just days ago, according to the Attorney General's public comments. And this morning, the pressure got to Donald Trump. And so he did the worst thing he could possibly do in the middle of a scandal that he was hoping would disappear. He wrote a long social media post about the scandal, about the Epstein files. Donald Trump gave the story much more fuel today, and he kept doing it all day, which is exactly the opposite of what a smart person would do in Donald Trump's position. And once again, Donald Trump distinguished himself as the vulgarian that he is in the presidency by using profanity in his written public posting, and for some reason putting the profane word in quotation marks in that weird way Donald Trump randomly and incorrectly uses quotation marks. And I mention that because if any other president had ever used that word in writing in public or verbally in public, the news media would rightfully explode over the use of that word and the collapse of presidential propriety. But this is the Trump era, and every standard of decency and accountability has been lowered for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump alone. Donald Trump, in his long post this morning, blamed the scandal about the Epstein files, of course, on the Democrats, saying, quote, their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and my past supporters have brought into this bullcrap, I'll call it, hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic. Yes, they have been conned by the lunatic for many years now, but Donald Trump wasn't actually referring to himself when he said that, and it was just my artful edit that let it sound that way for a moment. What he actually said was, even after being conned by the lunatic left. Donald Trump ended that social media rant against Republicans, saying, all these people want to talk about, with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems, is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Weaklings. Donald Trump is calling Republicans stupid weaklings. And as of today, he doesn't have the support of the people he calls stupid and weaklings. But it will take some time to know if Trump's loss of their support is permanent. Calling them stupid and weaklings probably won't help Donald Trump.
Mr. President, I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen of that?
No, it's not the Attorney General, no. I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
And there you have Donald Trump's description of stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans. And he kept going.
Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
They're stupid people. He's talking about Republicans. And no, the sad part is not that we're talking about the Epstein files. The sad part is what happened to those little girls when Donald Trump's friend, Jeffrey Epstein, got his hands on them. Michael Flynn served 24 days as Donald Trump's first national security advisor before being fired by Donald Trump and then convicted of federal crimes for which Donald Trump, of course, pardoned him today. Michael Flynn wrote this on social media, addressed directly to Donald Trump. I hesitated to write this, however, with the utmost respect and deference to you for all you've withstood. Few know it better than me, what the deep state can do when they want to turn on a person. The Epstein affair is not about who killed him or if he committed suicide personally. I'm glad this known pedophile is dead, but neither is this a hoax. This issue goes beyond all that. There are millions of Americans who've overwhelmingly voted for you to be our president, and we want you to be massively successful. No one more than me. All we want at this stage is for a modicum of trust to be reestablished between our federal government and the people it is designed to serve. That's all, period, exclamation point. An element that is of great importance surrounding this Epstein affair is the fact this man was a known pedophile, had a list of clients who represented the upper crust of society and likely did untoward things to children on his island, in his homes in New York City and New Mexico, and maybe elsewhere. He was convicted of it, regardless of what class of society abuses and commits crimes against children. It is never acceptable. This is where this argument went off the rails. It is not about Epstein or the left. It is about committing crimes against children. If there are leaks inside of our country that have committed crimes against children, shame on them. They must be held accountable. A sampling of Trump-supporting media today was not supportive of Donald Trump on the Epstein files. Alex Jones spoke directly and hysterically to Donald Trump on his program.
You have put the gun in your mouth and ours collectively. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. 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 For God's sakes, don't attack your constituents when they have morals and aren't robots.
Jeffrey Epstein killed himself before trial, but his co-defendant and co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, went to trial in 2021. She did not testify. The prosecution called 24 witnesses over 10 days of testimony, including 4 of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's victims. At the time, the Associated Press reported, quote, "The first 3 women testified as Jane, Kate, and Carolyn. First names are pseudonyms intended to protect their privacy. The last was Annie Farmer, who took the witness stand using her real name. Jane said she was 14 when she met Maxwell and Epstein at a music camp where Epstein was a benefactor. Maxwell showered her with attention in a way that left her vulnerable the moment she was first instructed to follow Epstein into his pool house in his Palm Beach, Florida estate in 1994, she said. When he began to sexually abuse her, I was frozen in fear, she said. I'd never seen a penis before. Prosecutors wanted evidence that Maxwell was a direct participant. Jane gave it to them by claiming Maxwell and Epstein fondled her together. When a prosecutor asked her why, as the defense pointed out, she didn't initially reveal everything about her experiences with Epstein in initial interviews with law enforcement. She said, fighting back tears because it was too difficult emotionally, too difficult on every level. 14 years old. That's what Donald Trump and his attorney general are hiding. 14 years old. The investigative files on a man who Donald Trump said he knew for 15 years, a man who said he was Donald Trump's closest friend for 10 years and who raped that child when she was 14 years old. They are protecting that man in the grave, and who knows who else. Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys know that their only hope of ever getting her out of prison will probably be a Trump pardon on the final day of the Trump presidency. And today, they released a statement praising Donald Trump. One of Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers said this about Donald Trump: he's the ultimate deal maker, and I'm sure he'd agree that when the United States gives its word, it should keep it. With all the talk about who's being prosecuted and who isn't, it's especially unfair that Ghislaine Maxwell remains in prison. And to deepen the mysteries that live in and around the Epstein files, new reporting indicates that there was a gap of 3 full minutes on the video recording of the door of Jeffrey Epstein's jail cell on the night that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. The 1-minute gap had been previously reported in that video, but new analysis by Wired indicates the actual gap is a full 3 minutes. That's one of many elements of the case that indicate that there remains much to investigate in this case. It's a case that never went to trial. And so the contents of those investigative files on Jeffrey Epstein were never fully revealed in a courtroom, as they were destined to be if he did not die in his jail cell. And Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee, which has jurisdiction over the Justice Department and the Attorney General, want to conduct that investigation of this case. Here is the top Democrat on that committee, Congressman Jamie Raskin, in yesterday's Judiciary Committee hearing.
There's something that everybody here, at least I used to think, agreed with, which is let's release the Epstein files. That guy is a child sex offender who's convicted of it and then took his life before the larger trial could take place. His associate, Ms. Maxwell, is in jail for 20 years. The whole country is saying, release the files. That's what Donald Trump said. That's what J.D. Vance said. That's what the Attorney General said. That's what the FBI director said. And now suddenly they want to sweep the whole thing under the rug. Why don't we have a real hearing with real government officials talking about the government and talking about a real investigation with the real problem, which is the nationwide crisis in the sexual abuse of children and human trafficking? Why don't we do that? I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.